Hey everybody, hope you're having a fantastic day. I thought since it is rainy and cold outside that this would be a great day to do a video on rain gear. Alright, so of course rain gear, very important for a thru hike, or anytime really, but definitely during a thru hike. First of all, you're gonna get wet. It's inevitable, it's gonna happen. It doesn't matter what kind of gear you have. You can have the top of the line gear, you're still gonna get wet at some point. So, and that's because it's not only is it wet outside, but you're also going to perspire and cause a lot of heat within your rain gear. So it's going to happen. I hate to say it. At some point or another, if you're doing a thru hike, you're going to be pretty much drenched or very wet at some point, or many points along the way. But I want to point out that as long as you are moving, you keep moving forward, keep hiking, then it's not as bad as you think. You do get wet, but it's not like you're stagnant and you're freezing to death. As long as you keep moving, and your feet are going to always be wet anyway, that's just how it is. But again, as long as you keep hiking and keep moving, it's not too bad. It is good to have good and proper rain gear, and that's more to keep heat inside your body as you're moving and as you're going. So what I do is I have a couple layers, but I do want to mention that it is so important that once you get to camp, or when you're ready to stop for the day, it's very important to set up your tent or get your sleeping bag system ready and get the wet clothes off as fast as possible. Get into some dry clothes so you can stay warm and maintain some body heat. It's very important that when you have your clothes, you have a whole set of clothes that is dry inside your pack. Keep them in a dry stuff sack, preferably waterproof if you can. A lot of people use a contractor garbage bag liner to put in the pack, and that seems to keep stuff pretty well dry. There's lots of different ways you can do it, but as long as you try to keep the contents inside your pack as dry as possible, but most importantly, have a set of clothes that you can always change into when you get to camp that is dry. That is imperative. So if you take away nothing else from this video, make sure that that is a priority. So what I use, and I've changed things up along the way, but this is what I'm going to be taking this year, 2021, on my thru hike of the Appalachian Trail again. I'm going to be taking this North Face rain jacket, and I'm going to tell you a story of how I got this in just a moment. But I am going to take this is one of my luxury items, a very small, lightweight, this is 5 ounces, umbrella. I got this it's at a store called At Home. It was real cheap, so if it breaks, I'm not going to be too upset. I also have these slip-on rain pants. They're not full pants. I can put them on pretty quickly. I don't have to take any clothes off or take off my shoes. I can just put these on, slip them on over, and it just has a little bit of elastic, and it just helps do that. So I got a pair of those that I'll be taking. Here they are. They're pretty lightweight, but my main thing that I'll be taking, I'm really excited to have this. What I'm really excited about is this rain poncho. I got this from Z-Pack, and it's going to go over myself and my pack. So I'm not bringing a pack liner rain cover. I'm sorry, I'm not bringing a pack cover. I'm just using this when it rains or snows heavily to put over my pack and myself. So I'm going to put all of this stuff on so you can see what it looks like. All right. right, then I'll be good to go. So this is it. This is what I've got set up. Pretty cozy, not too terrible to get into. All right, so this is it. This is my setup, and I think it'll work pretty well out on the trail. But it's gonna be nice to have a tiny little umbrella. We'll see how this works out. If I don't like it out there, I'll ditch it. So it's cheap enough to do that. It only costs $6. So, but that's what I'm gonna do. I've got plenty of layers that I can be hiking, stay dry enough, but more importantly, keep the heat, my body heat in, so as I'm moving and going, I'm not gonna freeze to death. So that's my plan. It's good to have layers, but more importantly, have something nice and warm you can change into when you're done hiking for the day. One of the things that is one of the most essential pieces of your rain gear setup and system should be gloves. Your hands get so cold out there when you're hiking in general, but especially when they're wet and you're soaking wet. So try to have a good pair of gloves that you can use. I've tried the ones that are waterproof and I did not have success with them, but I know maybe there's a different brands out there that are better than the ones I had. I cannot remember the name of the brand that I had. It wasn't a very popular brand. So maybe you'll have better luck with that than I did. But try to have a good pair of gloves that you can use, because if you can't feel your fingers and you can't set up your tent and your sleeping bag, then you could be in pretty big trouble out there. So have some good gloves that you can take with you on your through hike to help with the rain conditions. And these are the gloves that I'll be using or taking with me on the through hike this year. They are water resistant but not waterproof, and I'm able to use my phone with them, but that's what I'll be taking. One big mistake that I made when I through hiked in 2018 was I did not take into account condensation in my tent. So I got a really cheap tent that I got used offline on eBay, and that was a huge mistake when I started my through hike. And I had a major problem with condensation inside my tent when it was raining or when it wasn't, but especially when it was raining, it was a huge problem. Not only was it it was a one-person trekking pole tent, and it got me soaked, my sleeping bag and all of my gear inside was soaking wet. So that was a huge problem. So be sure that you have a good tent and you test out your gear. You're doing your shakedown hikes before you get out there and learn the hard way that something is not going to work. That was pretty a brutal lesson that I had to learn. I do have a really good tent now. I have tested it out. It works fantastic. And but yeah, you need to have a tent that has ventilation, because condensation is no joke. And everything, when it is wet, especially your sleeping bag, if you have a down sleeping bag like I used to have, gets, and I still have one actually, but it gets super heavy. Everything is very heavy when it's all soaking wet. And certain items in your pack take forever to dry if it does at all. So keep that in mind. You want to have a good tent with ventilation. You want to have good gloves. You want to have good rain gear will hold up, that will keep your body heat in. Layers is good. So hope all of this was helpful. Also keep in mind that it's not only the rain, but it's wind. So your rain gear is also a great layer to protect against the wind, and having a nice windbreaker. So, or just to have an extra layer just to keep warm, and that's pretty nice to have as well. It did snow quite a bit while I was on the Appalachian Trail in 2018, so I was wearing a lot of my rain gear just to maintain that body heat. So as long as you have some layers, and I always have it very accessible. My rain gear I keep on the outside of my pack so that I can grab it at any time. You never know when the weather is going to turn. I have seen weather reports that have said that it's going to be great, wonderful weather, clear skies, and out of nowhere a huge storm pops up and you get drenched. So I've also made the mistake of having my rain gear inside my pack and hard to get to, and that was an issue when I really needed it, especially quickly. So be sure you have good rain gear, and be sure you have it very accessible on the outside of your pack if possible, but if you keep it on the inside of your pack, have it close to the top so that you can grab it quickly when you need it. You never know when you're going to need it, and when you do need it, you usually need it in a hurry. So so take it from me, keep it accessible, and definitely be prepared. I wanted to explain where I got this really nice jacket. It's a North Face rain jacket, and I actually got it today at Goodwill. There's a Goodwill near our home that they charge you by the pound. So it's $1.39 for a pound of clothes. It's awesome. It's a great deal, and I love going there to find stuff, and every once in a while I'll find something good like this. So in actuality, this North Face jacket cost me less than $1. So if you had the time and you have the resources, you can go and find some really good deals out there. It's not too bad. I did have a nice rain jacket, but it was a lot heavier. This one is much lighter, so, and it actually fits me better. The one I had before was a little bit big. So this is perfect, just in the nick of time before I leave for my Thru-Hike. I'm so thrilled. But yeah, you keep an eye out for some good deals, and you can get some good rain gear, good gear in general. Check out check out eBay, check out Goodwill, Salvation Army, and Gear Trade. That's a good one. Also, Facebook Marketplace has some good deals. You can get stuff. But things do add up, and I am definitely not opposed to paying full price for products. I paid full price for this rain poncho from Z-Pack, and it was quite pricey, but I'm going to get so much use out of it. I'm not only going to use it for this Thru-Hike, but hopefully future Thru-Hikes and future long distance races. So I'm going to put this jacket this poncho through the ringer, I promise. But yeah, I do not mind paying full price for certain products, especially when I know that they're really good and they're going to hold up. One thing you definitely don't want to skimp on out there doing a Thru-Hike is the rain gear. You need to be prepared for that. It rains a lot out there, some years more than others, but it is always, dogs are wrestling, it is always a challenge. Your feet are going to get wet no matter what. I did a video on shoes. I'll be posting that soon, but I go over some tips and information about that. But just keep in mind, if you do get any kind of Gore-Tex boots or shoes, trail runners, it's nearly impossible to have them dry out. So I did not see a lot of that on the trail when I was going in 2018. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be wearing trail runners myself. Your feet are just going to be wet and cold anyway. But as long as you're moving and you're hiking, it's really not that bad. It's not too bad at all. But it's like a countdown. As soon as you get to camp, it is imperative that you get out of your wet clothes, shoes, and socks and get into your dry clothes and socks and get into your sleeping bag. So yeah, that's pretty much my recommendation, and that's how I did it. That's how I'll be going again. That's what worked for me, and that's what I saw a lot of people out there doing. But yeah, if you have any other information, tips, tricks of the trade to add to this video, please leave them in the comments below so other people can learn and be as prepared as possible out there on their Thru-Hike for the rain and all of the rain elements. Thank you, and have a fantastic day.